This is the Rolling with Tay podcast. I'm your host, Tasia, aka Tay, and I'm back. I'm back in New York. My last episode, I was in the studio. I was at my friend's studio. Now, I'm back in New York and using Riverside. But today, my guest is Hilary Topper, and her resume. Listen, she's an author, a triathlete, a blogger, a podcaster, a coach, a Bike New York roadie. That's how we met. I mean, I know there's things that I'm missing. Hillary, if you want to jump in and say, yeah, I'm this, I'm that, feel free. But she's an amazing person. I read her book. We'll talk about this. But thank you so much for being a guest on the podcast.
Oh, thank you so much for having me.
Course. Just thank you. Like we met via Bike New York roadie. We're both roadies, and then we started following each other on social media, Instagram. Now I'm not gonna lie. I was a little intimidated. I saw the blue check and I was like, I followed. I was like, she probably won't follow me back. And you followed me back, and I was like, what? And then we were communicating. You were liking my pictures, I was liking yours, and you were commenting. I was like, what? So don't judge a book by its cover because I was like, oh, she got a blue check. I'll never see her. She's and then, she mentioned she had a book, if we can see it. And I purchased it. I said, let me check it out. And from couch potato to endurance athlete, I just loved it. I review all the books that I read. I gave it a 5 out of 5. It was so relatable. I'm on my own journey. I was telling Hilary earlier, I'm on my own journey of maybe becoming a triathlete. I don't know. I still have to learn how to swim, but I started running, and I've been cycling, so it's like it was so real. I had all the emotions reading this book. It was I could talk about it for go on and go on and go on. But again, it's a really great book. Definitely check it out. I know I'm rambling on. Let me give Hillary the floor. Can you give us like a brief overview of your journey from being a non-athletic person in your late 40s to becoming the endurance athlete that we see today?
Yeah, definitely. Thank you so much. I'm so glad. And it just makes me so happy that you loved the book. And, it just really does. Um, I I was never athletic, ever. I didn't swim as a child. I mean, I got in the pool, but I wasn't learning how to swim. I didn't want to put my face in the water. Um, I never ran. I mean, they used to say run around the track. I think there was like a president's thing that they used to do when I was growing up, and you'd have to run around the track 4 times. And I used to like kind of run and then scoot in the back and do everything that I could to get out of anything athletic. Like I just did not like it. I didn't want to be involved. I'd rather, like in high school, just hang out in the smoking lounge and just hang out with my friends. And then I went to school in the city, and I started my own business. And at that point, I had just had my daughter, and I had started my business, and I was really focused on growing the business and trying to really like excel in that. And I did. And I was able to grow the business. It was pretty big. We had about 25 people working for us. And I was feeling like I had to constantly work to make money to feed everybody in the office, and it was getting to the point where I was like, it was so intense and the anxiety was so high. And, between the people in my office getting paid, and my kids, I needed to take care of them. I needed to take care of my husband. I needed to take care of my parents. And I just felt like very overwhelmed. And I thought, you know what? I need a change. I got to change my life because I can't do this anymore. It's just too much. So what I did was, I used to like watch people run, and I would sit there and I would watch them run and think, oh, there's something magical here, I want to do this too, but I didn't know how to start. So I was 48 years old and I joined New York Sports Club for the first time in my entire life. Like, I've never joined a sports club before that. I didn't even really have access. I mean, it just wasn't something that I even knew about. And I joined the club, and the personal trainer that I hired, he said, go warm up on the trainer. And I go down to the trainer and I don't even know how to turn this thing on. Like, it's just, I don't even know what am I supposed to do with this. So I see this woman next to me and she's running and the sweat's dripping down her face and it's on the floor. And she says, and I said to her, excuse me, could you help me turn this on? And she did. I mean, it was really nice. I would never do that again. but but it was really nice, and I started slowly but surely running a little bit. And I met a friend who had just done the New York City Marathon. And she said to me, come on, let's run together. And I'm like, she really wants to run with me. I don't even know how to run. And, she just ran a marathon. Anyway, so, but we started running together, and, just took it really, really slow, a little bit run, walk, run, walk, run. And we didn't really know what we were doing. We just kind of ran and then walked and then ran. And then eventually, fast forward, we were doing all this traveling together, and we met Jeff Galloway along the way, in Disney, and he was like really inspirational to both of us. And then it was during the Brooklyn Half Marathon that my friend said to me, done. We're not doing this anymore. I'm out. I can't. I'm done. And I was really disappointed because I felt really good at the Brooklyn Half. Like, I felt like I was finally doing something, like where I was going to PR it. And she said, I can't anymore. And I said to her, and it was funny because like a couple of weeks before that, I was in Florida in Sanibel. I had been hired by the tourism board to take photos and video wearing Google Glass. It was like an augmented reality. Anyway, so they told me about this triathlon there called the Captiva Tri, and they said that it was amazing and I should definitely try it if I was a runner. Like, little did I know I still had to like learn how to swim and learn how to bike, so that was like, I mean, I biked a little bit when I was growing up. We had a boardwalk. I grew up in a town called Long Beach, Long Island, and there's a boardwalk there. And we used to like, ride on the boardwalk, but it was like, 2 miles an hour, 5 miles an hour, maybe, it was not riding. Like, there was not exercise. It was just, a little bit. So now I have to learn how to clip in and, shift gears and climb hills. And I'm still not great at that, but it is what it is. I'm trying. I'm trying. And, and then the swimming was impossible. Like, I didn't want to put my face in the water, and when I did put my face in the water, I started throwing up. Like, I was constantly throwing up. It was terrible. The water would like go up my nose. I would choke. It was like a disaster. And a coach who I had hired way back when, he said, you really should join a master swim group, so I joined this group. I don't even know what I'm expecting. It's kind of like, you go for a ride with these people that are experienced and they just take off and you're like, what? Where'd they go? So it was kind of the same thing with the master swimming where, I'm in this group and I'm not sure how to swim and I'm throwing up, and the lifeguard, who really happens to be a good-looking guy, really hot-looking guy, he jumps in the water with me. Now, he must have been like 20 years younger than me. I was 53 at the time. He jumps in the water with me and he's like, come on, let's blow bubbles together. And
Mm-hmm.
I was like so embarrassed, but I did it. I said, you know what? Let me try this. And we realized, like, I've got like sinus issues, and we realized that I needed nose plugs, and that's fine. Like, a lot of people are like, oh, I would never wear nose plugs. That's for kids. You know what? It's fine. You
Yeah.
if it gets you through it, you could do whatever you really set your mind to do. And that's what I wanted. I really wanted to do a triathlon, and I did it in Captiva, and it was an amazing experience. I did it actually with my friend, my running friend. And um then the next time I did one like 2 weeks later in Montauk, and it was like, oh my God, this is amazing. And I was all like, I was upset because somebody kicked me really hard during the swim. It's actually like, when you're swimming in these things, you got to really be careful, because it becomes almost like a battleground. Like, people are punching, kicking, and, they want to get on top of you and swim
Mm.
faster. And it's ridiculous, really. So, yeah, so anyway, so I got kicked, and I was like out of breath, and
Mm.
I'm just sitting there in the water, and a lifeguard came over to me and just said, look, just relax, and when you're ready, just go 20 strokes, and just relax. And by doing that, I actually finished, and I did the triathlon, and I came in like first place. It was like ridiculous in my age group. I was shocked. I was like, are you kidding me? I couldn't even get out of the water. So that was really exciting, and I kind of got hooked from there. I've done a lot of triathlons around the country, and I just love it. It's just so much fun.
Ah, wow. You know, I I am on the journey. Like I said, learning how to swim, and then the goal is I want to do a triathlon. But hearing those stories about people swimming over you and kicking you, I don't know.
Yeah, you just, you get through it. Like, there are ways to, you start like practicing with other people in the water, and then you can also start in the back, or start on the side. I mean, I don't know why I tend to go up front. I should, I should, I should just linger in the back, but yeah.
Do you have a favorite triathlon that you've done?
Oh my God, I've done so many amazing triathlons. Like, I loved New York City. That was the one that I had, I think, the most anxiety about, because I was nervous, number one, swimming in the Hudson River, because I was like, oh my God, what if I hit a dead body? I you hear these things, you don't know. And then so that was a big fear of mine, although the swim is ridiculously fast, and it was warm, and it was wonderful. Like, it really was. I was really scared about the bike, because it's hilly on the Henry Hudson Parkway. And I was like, oh my God, am I going to be able to do it? Can I do this? And I really had such anxiety. And I had this friend who was a client at the time. And she said to me, let's compare this triathlon to business, right?
Mm,
How many times have you jumped into dirty water,
mm,
right? Like, you do. You just, sometimes you have to, right? Or how many times have you climbed uphill
mm.
in your journey? And by saying that to me, kind of like, I thought, wow, she's right. There's definitely something to that, that I just didn't know, but I got through it, and it was amazing. Um, I've done so many amazing triathlons. Like I did one in St. Croix that was gorgeous. Like the water was beautiful, aqua blue, and turtles are swimming past you as you're swimming. It was
Ooh.
just amazing, amazing. But they all have their merits. I mean, Van Power does great work. Alpha Win. I mean, there's so many good Integrity, Multisport in Florida. They do wonderful races. So they're all really good. I love supporting the local triathlon community. And what's beautiful and I love about this triathlon community is that no matter who you are, no matter where you live, no matter anything, it's like you're part of this community and we all connect with each other on some level. So it's just amazing.
Oh, wow. And it's funny that you say that your friend or your client said, relate triathlons to business, and I relate like cycling or running or something, like I relate that to life, right?
Yeah, for
It's like
sure.
if I'm nervous about something, I'm like, wait a minute, Tasia, you biked 100 miles, like, or if I'm like, oh, something's too hard, I'm like, you spent 7 hours on a bike, biking
Yeah.
100 miles in July in Jersey. It just I go look
Yeah.
back at those moments and like, okay, yeah, you're right. If I can do that, I can give this a try. So yeah, I
Yeah.
agree with her on that.
It's really a special community. It's like I've never been part of a community like this before where people just embrace you, and it's so nice because you could talk to anybody about anything, and everybody's so like willing to share their experiences and stuff. So, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, it definitely is. I found a community because I started cycling as an adult in 2017. I got my folding bike, then I switched to a road bike, and I found a community. Black Girls Do Bike, BX Girl Biking. I found these communities of cyclists,
Yeah.
um, and it was like, wow, this is everybody's doing it. It was just so I hadn't felt like that. Like I grew up with my friends and my friends from high school and college, loved them dearly, but this was something different.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you've heard this, but I know people are like, oh, it's so difficult to make friends as an adult. And
Yeah.
by joining these communities,
Yeah.
I have all these friends, some who I'm closer with others, but it's just like,
Yeah.
oh, wow, yeah. I may not see them every day, but hey, you want to do this thing, you want to go bike here, you want to go do this, you want to go do that. And by joining these communities, cycling brought us together, but I found
Mhm.
out that so many of them are triathletes. And I'm like, what is this thing? Like, in your book, I think you had a quote from Derica, the
Yeah.
president of the Iron Riders, Major Tail Iron Riders, and she said, she she started off doing triathlons. Someone else who I met through Black Girls Do Bike, Simone, she, triathlons. Lisa, who is also a bike roadie, um, triathlons. So like just seeing that a lot of them not only just cycle, but they did, multi sports, was really cool and got me thinking again. I'm not there yet, but I'm thinking, okay, I'm not feeling too confident with my swimming yet because I have to take lessons, but um, maybe do a duathlon. Get my feet wet in this like transition of cycling, then running, then cycling again, or however it is. I think it's running, cycling, then running.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
okay.
yeah. I mean, what the thing about it is that most people in triathlons if they don't have a swimming background, mostly fear the water.
Mm-hmm.
Have this like thing. So it's not like you're alone. Like everybody, it's amazing how many people are really nervous in the water. And I remember like we I went with I was involved in this all women's tri group with Megan White and Lisa Laws, and we went up to Hudson Valley and rented a house, and we went swimming in this lake with all of the women from the team. And most of the team members were freaking out. I was freaking out in the beginning. And then I was like, wait a second, I got to relax. And then I started helping other people not freak out. And by doing that, I felt more relaxed, and we did, we did it was a great swim that day. And that's something, when we went there in 2015, we all still talk about it. Like we all still talk about this amazing weekend that we had, where we swam in this lake, we rode these hills, and it was just very, very special, and we really connected. I just, I really love these women. They're great. I wish I saw them more, but we just, it's like we saw each other a lot that one year, and then it kind of like fizzled out,
Mm-hmm.
but yeah.
Yeah, that's amazing. Um, yeah, the Hudson Valley and Catskills and anything up.
Yeah. Ooh.
Those hills are something. um, what keeps you motivated, right?
Yeah, that's a really good question. It's funny because a lot of people have a hard time getting motivated to do anything. I mean, it is much easier. Look, it's much easier, right, to just get up in the morning, have breakfast, do social media, until you have to go to work, and then, go to work and do your thing, and then come home and go to bed. That's easy, right? And then it's gotten to the point now where it's like I have to do this.
Mm-hmm.
I have to do this for my body. Um, it's almost like it became a habit. So what I do is the night before, I put out all my clothes for whatever I'm going to do. I mean, that's what I do. And then I get the coffee ready. Everything is like, okay, I'm going to get up at 4:30. I'm going to, get dressed in my whatever I'm doing, go downstairs, have coffee. I could check my social media, but I only have like 20 minutes to do that. And then I got to get out the door. And that's basically what I do. And I do it pretty much every day. I mean, and I think in the beginning it was really hard to get into that routine. But I think the thing that motivates me is, number one, when you have somebody that is waiting for you,
Right.
you definitely become accountable to that person. Like I swim a lot with my friend Ray, and and he's ridiculous. He's getting faster and faster, and I'm saying to myself, I don't know how he keeps wanting to swim with me because I can't keep up. But you know, I- but just knowing that he's going to be there, even though like we don't even talk, it's not like we're having conversations or anything, but I know he's going to be there, so I make it my business to be there at the pool. And then in terms of running and swimming, and biking and stuff, either I meet him or I meet other people, or, I just go by myself because I need that time for me. It's like me time, and I try to focus on that. You probably read that I had brain surgery, like about, I don't know, 2 months, maybe a little bit more, almost 3 months ago.
Mm-hmm.
My sister had passed away from a brain aneurysm, and I was really nervous about it, like that this would happen to me. And of course it did, except thankfully it wasn't ruptured and they caught it in time. So they were able to put a stent in. And they said to me, like, the one thing that's been so important in my journey trying to get back is that I've been able to work out, and when I had to take off for those 2 weeks after surgery, I was going nuts. I was absolutely going nuts. And I couldn't wait to get back in the pool or couldn't wait to, I mean, the running took me longer and I'm still a little struggling with it, but I'm getting there. And the biking, I'm getting there, you know. I mean, I did have a bit of a bike accident in Key West, and that was a bad one. I really hit my head twice. It's like, oh my God, of all things to hit at this point, right before surgery. But, I think that it's really helped me, my recovery, getting back. And, a lot of people, like, it's funny, my aunt, she wrote to me the other day and said, I said, oh, I just came back from a run. We just did 6 miles with the group. And she's like, oh, it's really good that you're still doing this at your age.
Hmm.
And I'm saying to her, you know what? I hope I'm in my 80s when I'm doing this. Like, I am not going to stop until God says you got to stop. you know I mean, seriously, like, it's something that I love, and it just makes me happy, and it's like my happy time before the day starts. So, I mean, for people out there listening, that's my advice, just get out there and do something, like even just walking is wonderful, just to do something, and to move your body, because it really does make a difference.
Yeah, I 100% agree with you. Um, I'm constantly saying just do something. A little bit is better than nothing. Walking, whatever your thing is, you know. Um, but and I was telling you earlier, one thing I really admire about you is that you didn't let your age, right? You know how some people say, "Oh, I'm too old to do this thing." Why? Like, who? You are putting
Right.
limitations on yourself, and I don't ever want to be like that. No, I'm too old to learn how to swim, or I'm too old to learn this thing that I want to do. Eventually I want to go scuba diving. I want to do certain things which I know it may take a while, but I said I want to do it, and I'm gonna do it. And people just say, "Oh, I'm too old to do this traveling thing," or "I'm old," and they have the means to do it. "I'm too old to do this," or "I'm too old to do that," and they don't. And you kind of like you can watch them wither away, And it's unfortunate because I think if they did do whatever they're saying they're too old to do, it'll probably bring them much more joy, longevity. Um, like your doctor says, like you being active is helping you, right? It's helping you more the ways than you could even imagine. You're from
So
your
many ways.
recovery to your health mentally and physically. It's just like just I encourage everybody to be active in some form or fashion. But I definitely that's one of
It's
the
just,
things.
it's getting out of your own head. It's like you're thinking, oh, I can't do this. I can't do this. Why even try? Because
Right.
I'm not going to be good. Who cares if you're not going to be good? Who cares if you're the last one to finish a race? It doesn't matter. It really doesn't.
Hmm. It doesn't,
Nobody remembers.
no one will be.
Nobody remembers who's first, and nobody remembers who's last. It doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter. Listen,
Yeah.
yeah, that is so true. So, 5 to 10 years from now, what are you doing? Are you still racing? Are you coaching? Are you writing more books? What are you doing?
Well, I am writing a book right now, my fourth book. It's basically a beginner triathlon book, and it's written in a way that is very, very simple to read. I mean, I've read so many beginner triathlon books, and they are so complicated and it's just totally over your head.
Mhm.
This one is just real concrete advice on what to do, when to do it, etc. So that's what I'm working on now, and I've got to get that to the publisher by sometime this summer. But in 5 years or 10 years, I'm praying that I could continue to do this journey. I have people in my running group who are in their 70s and they're running and they inspire me, and I want to be like them. I want to keep running. I have this one woman who's pushing 80, and she is just such an inspiration. She's gone through two things of cancer, breast
Mm,
and lung cancer, and she's still out there running. And I just love that about her. Like she just pushes beyond the boundaries, and it's so important to, just do something.
yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
So I just hope I hope I can continue to do this.
Listen, I will be following your journey as long as there's Instagram out there. I'm following it. I love it. I love seeing it. And then we spoke a little bit about earlier about the group of people, and you've also started your didn't you start like a group?
Yeah, so it's I have a well, it started with a run walk group, right? So I have this run walk group since 2017, and we run walk in different parks around Long Island. We go out really slow. It's like a social kind of thing. It's so much fun. We just like chat the whole entire way, laugh. It's amazing. And then I got certified. Well, I'm certified as a triathlon coach, and I also got certified as a USMS swim coach, believe it or not. Like after not knowing how to swim, I wanted to teach other people to swim, and I've been teaching, coaching for, oh, like 2 years already now. It's been a little bit more. And, there's been people who have been really nervous about the open water. That becomes like a big, big fear
Yeah.
for a lot of people, like, oh my God, what's in there? You can't see anything, what? And, we just kind of focus on like, look at where we are. This is gorgeous, like look at where we are and and we have no boundaries. We can swim wherever we want to swim. And, so I've been doing a lot of swim coaching, and I just started a group 8 weeks ago. And we're going another 8 weeks there. I just got a bunch of new people. So that's kind of cool that, kind of expanded. And it was funny because I was at the aquatic center today, and there's a guy, his name is Will. He's at the front desk, really nice guy. And he said to me, I'm going to tell people that if they want it, like, just a fun, no pressure workout, go to Hilary. But if you want to be like in the Olympics, you could go to the other team. So I was like, oh, I like that. That's good, because it should be fun. It should
Right.
be fun. It's not, it's like my first coach, he worked me out so much. I felt like I was like preparing for the Olympics, like it was a full-time job. It's it shouldn't have to be that way. It should be fun. It should be, just something that you love. When I go out for a long run, especially when I'm alone, you really like come to terms with so much, so much stuff. And even riding, like taking a long ride. We've got this amazing path here on Long Island, that's 38 miles round trip, and it's beautiful. It's just absolutely, you'll have to come out.
I will come out. I
Yay.
will.
It's beautiful. And I do that a lot. And it's just sometimes like you put on, those aftershock headphones where you could hear the outside world, but you hear the music, and
Mhm.
you kind of like go into your own place, and it's just so nice and relaxing and happy. And yeah.
Ah, beautiful. I love seeing your posts. You'll be by yourself or you'll be with the group, and you are inspiring others, to get
Thank
active.
you.
So
That's what
um,
I'm hoping. I'm hoping.
you are
Yeah.
from your book, from this book right here, and in the book that you're about to write. I know that, and I can't wait for that to come out so I can like get some tips on it. Um, but it's and like you mentioned, and I said to you, I've looked at some other like books and websites, and I'm like, what is this? It's kind of like it
It's a
is
little
definitely
bit over your head, and you feel like, and then you start feeling intimidated and feel
right.
like it's not accessible. And that's not what I want this to be, because like, it was like that first bike ride that I did with my coach's group. And he's like, okay, make a left, make a right. I don't know where the heck I am. I'm like in this like area of Long Island I've never been to before. And he's like, make a left, make a right, make a left, make a right. And like, where are we going? And he's like, oh, we'll all catch up to you and we'll all stay together. Go ahead, go. And I start going. And then they like buzz right past me like I was standing still. And I'm like, I don't know where I'm going. Like, and you don't want to feel like that. You don't want to feel like, oh, I'm not good enough. I'm not you don't want to feel that way. That's not what this is about. This is about being empowered more, you know what I mean, as opposed to, comparing yourself to other people, or trying to, you're racing against yourself. And
That's it.
that's what I love about this.
That's it. That's definitely it. Well, yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to the future. 5 10 years from now, more books, coaching. Maybe who knows? Maybe I'll become a swim coach. I don't know. From not learning how to swim to swimming, like that's so inspirational to see that and to hear that. One thing I saw, right, your blog is, I mean, again, just you. I told you this earlier, like you, like all the things that you have done. I want to write a book about what I don't know yet, but I want to write a book. I looked at your blog. You're an entrepreneur. Like you're like, you know what? Hey, I'm gonna do this thing. Let me just, that's what I get from you. Like, like, all right, I'm just gonna start this thing and we're gonna see. And then the next thing comes. And you know what? All right, now what's next? Oh, triathlons. Okay, great.
Yeah. I mean, I think for me, and I think this happens to a lot of people too, and maybe that's why maybe people can relate to me, is because I think my entire life, like was always told that I was never good enough, never smart enough, never fast enough, never this, like I go into business, oh, you'll never succeed, you'll never do it, and then I do it and I get there and I'm like, okay, now that I'm here, now it's time for something else,
Right. What's next?
Yeah. I mean, and that's, I guess it's like I'm always proving that I could do this, and I'm never going to let people like say to me, don't just tell me that I can't do it, because I'm going to do it, like, somebody said to me, oh, you'll never jump out of an airplane, next thing you know, I'll be jumping out of an
Yeah.
airplane. Right.
um, the last thing I wanted to mention, I was going through your blog, great blog.
Thank
Um,
you.
you're welcome, and I see that you rented out City Field in
Yes.
2016 for a
Yeah.
New York Tri Expo.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah. So, so I get so into this, like, I can't believe how much I'm loving this sport, right? And I'm realizing that there's not that much education, right? That's like what my team is about. My team is more about education, and, like I've got webinars and people like join the team from all over the country. So it's not like we're going out together. We're kind of like coming in and learning. It's more about learning than anything else. But anyway, so in 2016, I was like, there's nothing. like this. Why don't maybe we should, maybe I should rent City Field. This was like a crazy, I mean, it was a crazy idea and it actually worked. It really did. I mean, we had like 2,000 people at this event. There were 70 vendors. There were 20 concurrent seminars going on at the same time. And then I had Matt Dixon, who's like amazing triathlete, and he's written a lot of books. He came in and gave a presentation, and then Matt Long, who also wrote a book. He was a big cyclist and got hit by a bus, and it was devastating what happened to him. I mean, he almost died. He was in, but his story is like very uplifting because I mean, it takes you to that dark place where he was, but then it shows, that he's now thankfully back and he's giving back to like people with disabilities. So the money that I raised, some of the money, that I put toward his charity. And but I mean, the reason, it's funny because a lot of people say to me, well, how come you didn't do it again? And it was, I think the stress level for me was just ridiculous. It was like, okay, now I've got to take $50,000 and plop it into City Field. And am I going to get the money back? This is my retirement money. Like, am I going to get this money back? And thankfully, it was like a week before I got the money back. And I was like, oh. But then I was like, all right, if I'm going to do this again, I need a major sponsor.
Right.
And I couldn't get anybody to ante up. Everybody's like, oh, well, we'll donate product. I'm like, no, that's not going to do it. But it really was a great day. It was like amazing day.
Well, hopefully you'll get a chance to do that again and you'll have a
Maybe.
sponsor that'll put up the money. I would definitely, I'm there. So if when this happens again, we'll put it into the universe. Man. But when I read that, and I was like, wait a minute. I read that a couple times. I'm like, rented City Field.
I know, you didn't even know. Like, a lot of people don't even know that you can rent City Field. You can.
Well,
I mean, when the Mets aren't playing there,
right, yeah. I was like, you could do that? She did that? What? That was great.
They gave me this bat. It was very cool. Like, after the event was over, City Field gave me a bat with my name engraved and the date of the event. It's like it's a really, I don't know, I have it somewhere around here.
Oh man, that is
Keep it by my bed just in case. No, I'm
yeah,
kidding.
yeah. Listen, that is awesome. That's what I'm saying. Like, you are like, hey, I'm gonna do this. Yeah. Yes. Uh, very inspirational, and
Thank you.
I thank you for taking the time out talking to me when we were scheduling this. You were like, yeah, I got to do something. I think what at 6, and then I have to do something at 9, and then after that, I'm like, wait, you're gonna be out at 6? I'm waking up. I'm getting myself up at 6.
Yeah,
Listen,
no.
I'm working. I'm working on the routine. I definitely understand that. Like, set my stuff out, set my like clothes out, my sneakers out, whatever I'm doing the night before, because most likely I'll do it. But if I just say it in my head, yeah, I'm gonna get up early, I'm gonna go for a bike ride. I'm not going. I might not go.
Yeah, it's hard. It's definitely hard. But once you get into the habit, now that the weather is getting nice in the Northeast,
Yes,
I
yes,
mean,
yes,
not this week, but hopefully next week will be a really good week. We'll be
yes.
able to get out there and ride. And yeah, unfortunately, I can't do the bike tour. I'm like bummed about that, but I'm gonna try to do those other ones that they offer. So those will be fun, and hopefully we'll get to do them together.
Yes, definitely. And I'll come out to Long Island. I'm in the Bronx. I'll come out to Long Island and I'll ride.
Great.
Um, I'll. I'm definitely looking forward to that path that you were talking about.
It's beautiful.
And I'm actually doing my first 10K. It's a trail run
Ooh.
with some friends. It's up at Bear Mountain, and don't know. what I'm getting myself into. But I'm excited, and it's all about, just I'm not worried about time. I'm not worried about. I want to be
Just have fun.
there. Yep, I just want to have fun and finish. And
Yeah, for sure. Definitely.
that's all I'm looking forward to. But again, thanks for being a guest. Is there any last words you like to part with?
I guess just, if you're out there and you're sitting on the couch and you're just hanging in your living room all day, like just remember that you don't have to do that, that there are other people out there who have been in your situation who can help inspire you to get off the couch and just do a little bit every day, no matter what, even if it's 5 minutes, one day, or even 3 minutes, it doesn't matter. Just move a little bit, get outside, walk around your house or your neighborhood or whatever. And you've got this, because I think that, you know, you've got this. If I could do this, you could do this.
Yeah, that's what I tell people. I'm like, if I can do this, you definitely can do this. You can do this.
Yep. Everybody. Right. Exactly.
Where can people find you?
Sure. So, my book is From Couch Potato to Endurance Athlete, and that's on Amazon and Barnes and Noble. And you could also find it in your local bookstore. And if you're looking for me, you could look me up on a triathlete's diary.com or hilarytopper.com. And I'm on Instagram, Hilary Topper, so anywhere, if you just type my name, you'll find my email address. It's Hilary at HJMT, but you'll find it. It's on the internet. And, I definitely welcome feedback or questions or anything like that, yeah.
All right.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. I'll definitely be reaching out once I
Good.
doing those triathlons. And
Yay.
Hilary,
You got it.
what does this mean? Thank you again. Yeah, this is the Rolling with Tay podcast. I'm your host Tasia, aka Tay, and thanks for listening and watching.